Okay, so boom. You finally realize the power of emails and owning your own data. So you create a newsletter and get a landing page fired up. You send out your first email and bloop, it's in the promotions folder. Unless you're an e-commerce company, I'm sorry to tell you, but the promotion folder is not going to help you. This is why you should get ConvertKit. ConvertKit specializes in keeping your email in the primary folder so you can increase your open rates and communicate with your audience. They also have beautifully designed landing pages and squeeze pages for you to capture more emails. I personally love the fact that they have good support. Support from you is everything. If I have a problem, I need to know I can get someone on the line or have a video that answers all of my questions. Hustlers don't give up. They say, yo, let me figure this out. I figured it out with ConvertKit. And let's start the show. Owen, you ready?
I'm ready.
Bright and early in the morning, man. Hello and welcome to the Hustle Over Everything podcast. This is the podcast where we receive stories, tips, and strategies from entrepreneurs who've done it to help you grow your business and take yourself to the next level as a person. Today is a Wildcard episode. I'm excited, man. And if you haven't already, make sure you're following us on Instagram at 247hustler and at Twitter 247 Hustlers. Oh man, how you feeling, man? Happy birthday.
Man, it was a special weekend, turning 27. Man, I'm grateful to see another day, another year of life, man. When I used to think about being 27, I'm like, raw, you're closer to 30. So I'm like legit making steps towards 30. And I'm not one of those people who's scared of age, as in like, oh my God, I'm getting old. Da, 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 da. No, I'm very happy, because I know with age comes with wisdom. And, the more wiser you get, the more, successful you become. So I'm more excited for these years of my life. But most importantly, 27 is like the prime time year. This is like where you're a young buck, you're doing your thing, you're you're just out here owning it, man. So I'm excited about that. But overall, the day I celebrated it on Saturday, but my actual birthday was January 10th, Sunday. And I had like my family over. It was a very intimate gathering over at the crib. We had food. My mom actually brought food with Carlton, my cousin. He drove down from London, and he had
Oh
like
wow.
meatballs, ground beef, shrimp, all these little samosas, all these little knickknacks. And you know me, I love bartending now, bro. So I'm chefing up some drinks behind the counter for my sisters and my cousins and everything. So it was a blessing, bro. I mean, I wish you could have been there, but with Corona and everything, you can't have COVID police at the door. So
Yeah,
gotta
man.
protect the loved ones, man.
That's a fact, man. Yeah, we were saying earlier that I wanted to make sure that I was protecting y'all too, with my girl being a nurse, man. You never know
Hmm.
what could be, being passed on. So I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna gracefully bow out.
Yeah.
So it sucks, but it is what it is. This is the world we're living in right now, so you gotta adjust correctly, you know.
Hmm.
And right now we're seeing the remnants, the effect, not the remnants, the effect of gathering during Christmas.
Hmm.
Right now we're about to get a curfew. We're about to get, a stronger lockdown. And honestly, what we're seeing though is the result of Christmas, the result of Christmas shopping.
Hmm.
People were shop with Ontario was in lockdown during the Christmas shopping season. So everyone was shopping and passing, from my opinion, passing Corona on through that. Because I remember going into Walmart and it was mayhem in the Walmart.
It was,
There
eh?
was it was mayhem. It was ridiculous, man. There was people. It was overstuffed for one, and I definitely feel like the security guards had lost control of the numbering, or it's not
Hmm.
the numbering, but the keeping the amount of people in the store down. It
Hmm.
was it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and also Halton Hills was packed. Places outside of the geos were packed. We talked
Yeah.
about this on the last part. So I'm like, all right. So what effect did I really have? And then people went from those populated locations to their family
Hmm.
homes. So Now we're seeing the results about 2 weeks after. So it's sad, but it is what it is. People want to spend time with their families no matter what, and I can't really. Can you really blame them for that?
You can't blame them, man. And the thing I ask you, it's these curfews. What makes them feel like a curfew is gonna change everything? It's as
Honestly,
if they think COVID. They have an agreement with COVID that's only gonna come out after 8 p.m. Like, they signed a pact with Corona. It's like, hey, Corona, don't come out till after 8 p.m. And just don't exist during the day, but come out. Like it doesn't matter, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
and,
Um,
and people are not even going anywhere to begin with later that night. So what is
I think
I
what's
don't
happening is that he needs to show face again. He needs to show that he's doing something because the cases are rising. So it's a matter of what are you doing to help us again. So that's kind of the situation. I think is that now because of it's a reactive statement. You get me? He's
Mhm.
not actually saying, "All right, we can do proactively." So
And
we just
what
have
did you
to.
think when these
Right.
MPs went out for vacation?
I thought it was hilarious.
I did too. I wasn't
Yeah,
even mad. I just chuckled at that.
yeah. Which MPs went out for vacation exactly? Was it Trudeau that
Um,
went out?
Not Trudeau, the uh, chief
Yeah.
financial minister.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name again? Rod something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's like he's part of like Ford's cabinet, like right hand guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's always there like behind him in his pressers and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, he and the thing is, man, it's like these guys are like resigning from their jobs just because they went out on vacation to the Hawaii or Barbados.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because they're becoming hypocrites, right? They got to set a precedent, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but it just shows you that like we're dying for some sort of normalcy
It was
at the
Rod
end of the
Phillips.
day.
Rod Phillips is the guy.
Rod Phillips, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Anti shout out to Rod Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So, did you get anything for your birthday though? Circling back.
Birthday. Yeah, like my sisters gave me cards. My cousin Carlton gave me. Well, they got me beverages. So I got like they know I'm a whiskey guy, so I got like a bourbon. I got a Cavi, which is like a nice whiskey, coffee whiskey. It's like one of those
Okay.
new trends that are starting out.
Mm-hmm.
And from you, bro, you got me that Bel Air, man. Guys, Alex just calls me. He's like, "Hey, bro, like, did you get your package?" I'm like, "What, yo, package? What do you mean a package, right?" And then later on in the evening, Alex is like, "Hey, what's your buzzer code? Someone's coming to get you something." And I open the door. The guy comes through. I open the door. I look down. I see a bottle of Bel Air Rosé, and yeah, man, thank you for doing that, bro.
My
It was one
pleasure,
of
man.
those.
My pleasure.
I still
Man,
have some
guys,
for left.
yo, we recorded a previous pod last
Let's
night.
keep it real, man. Yeah.
Let's keep it real. I'm so like deflated. We got to keep it real with the audience of what's going on. So last night we recorded a whole pod, and we used this new platform called Riverside. And what happens with Riverside is that they don't record two sides automatically. They only record one side. So we ended up recording a whole podcast with only my side, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So we got to experience popping the bottle and actually me seeing it, but we didn't get to record it, which is annoying as hell.
Yeah. I popped
But
this bottle and on the camera, man. I'm getting gassed up, so I'm feeling like it's like like you're popping a champagne like you won a championship. It was a champagne campaign, man. And then for this, it's funny because I popped it. The whole, some of the drink goes up to the ceiling. Like I can still see like little spots up in the ceiling of the rosé. And I wish you guys saw this video because it was pretty funny. But hey, man, like this is what you get for switching new platforms, man. 2021. These are growing pains, Al.
growing pains, that's exactly it. When you switch to new platforms, you have to adjust to everything. You have to figure out how to work things, and there's gonna be bottlenecks, man. So this is part of the hustle, man. Part of the journey. You're seeing it in real time. You're
Hmm.
seeing you're hearing our frustration in real time. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
this is
man.
coming to you in the morning. Like we woke up early just to get this episode out. Like this is just this is the realities of it. We talk about podcasting, what the realities of podcasting is. This is one of them. You're gonna lose audio. Imagine recording, saying some great things on a recording, like you feel so inspired at the moment, and you're speaking upon it, but then it vanishes. Those are
Hmm.
tough feelings to deal with. So yeah, it is what it is, man.
It's BS. I don't know how they would opt you out of video when you start it. That makes no sense. You gotta like actually manually click record on two people once you start it. But like, why would they? I don't know. But whatever. Yo, what do you think about 2021 for business? Where do you see social media marketing going in 2021?
What do I see
Social
happening for
media, yeah.
marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, social media marketing has been getting harder for the past year, and I believe it's about to get even harder uh, as time progresses. Just because I think now it's becoming the new form of marketing as it is. Before, like, we used to think about, hey, newspaper ads, radio, billboards, whatever. But I think people are thinking social media marketing first. And I mentioned this yesterday, like, where, like, what do you think is gonna happen? And I mentioned the whole idea of privacy, and I brought up the idea that, hey, the whole thing with Trump that has changed things. And my philosophy when I was looking at that, I was like, okay, why do these companies keep moving the goalpost for what is allowed to be said on their platform and what's not? Like, what is their privacy policy? And you brought up the fact that, hey, this is terrorism and an expression. So and we can talk about it again, just so we can give the audience what my thoughts are. My thoughts are Trump just got banned from Instagram, Twitter, pretty much all social media.
And shopping platforms too.
Well, not Trump in particular, but people who are selling Trump
Yeah, yeah,
gear, right, on
yeah.
Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
But for Trump himself, he got kicked out because he was tweeting about recounting the votes. Nothing really to incite violence per se, but his fans took his tweets and decided to march Capitol Hill, and you already know what happened there. But from I'm not defending Trump forever he is, but I'm just defending the idea of what these platforms mean to people and what they've been standing for years, about how you have freedom of expression and freedom of thought. And then once something doesn't goes against the grain, which is doesn't even really say anything bad what Trump said, like in particular, but he suffers the consequences of getting kicked off of the platform. So why does it matter to us as just regular, civilians out here? It just showed me that the power these platforms have, when if they get the pressure, if they get the foot on their neck, they're willing just to abandon everything that they believed in and they thought about, from what makes their platform great and what they preach, just to appease the masses. So when I talk about heavy policing, regulating social media, these were platforms where you can be free and be able to express yourself. But now you can see how, when push comes to shove, this isn't as what you thought it was going to be, but things are also going to get tighter, and privacy policy is going to change, and etc. So that was my take for what do I see is going to happen. I think these platforms, people are going to be more careful, and businesses at the same time too, of what they do and what they say. And even as a Shopify business owner, like, imagine you have a Trump store producing $10 million in revenue, like, a year, and now it's gone. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
these are just T-shirts with somebody's name on it, Trump and etc. Like, he's the president, and then your store just gets abandoned. So think about that from a business standpoint. Just don't even think about Trump. Like, you're just selling merchandise that doesn't say, like, I hate black people, I whatever, or this is just like make America great again, and boom, gone.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like, I understand why, guys. Like, trust me, I get it, but I'm just looking at it from, I'm arguing a point here that is, just think about how these
The
businesses
idea
move.
of being kicked off your
Exactly.
platform
Yeah.
and the idea of not having freedom of speech. I get it. I get what you're saying. Here's where I differ, though. I differ here because one, they're not. It's not public. they
Mhm.
are received publicly, but they're privately owned companies. You know, if Twitter wants to shut down their platform tomorrow, they can do that. Same with any other platform. I've gotten my Facebook hacked, and I was like, "Yo, can I get back my content?" And then they said no. So it's a privately owned company at the end of the day, so they have the ability to do what they want. When you're not the owner, you can do as you please. What would have to happen in order for us to really be able to say we have freedom of speech is if the government owned a platform, which would be even
Mhm.
worse because then they'd be policing everything. You get me? So
Mhm.
it's really like you have to take it with a grain of salt. Is that either we can have it a privately owned company where it's predominantly freedom of speech, and then in situations like this where there is a president who went from using the platform for updates to moving to a coup
Mhm.
and inciting violence, inciting terrorism upon the country,
Mhm.
then they have to have a counter reaction to that. One, because the effects that it could have on society. Two, because they can become liable for that. They got to protect
Mhm.
themselves. I bet you there could be a lawsuit that comes upon Mark Zuckerberg saying that, hey, you are housing terrorism or terrorists under your
Mhm.
platform willingly and not do anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's a liability for any company. So
Mhm.
so it's like uh, what can they really do? They gotta kick him off, And for the Shopify example, it's literally like having the Nazi symbol on your platform. At one time, it was a symbol for peace, and now it's
Mhm.
not at all.
Mhm.
It's literally a symbol of terrorism, of anti-establishment, anti-government, anti like national beliefs, right? So it's literally like the meaning of it's changed. So now like all right, so should Shopify? Let me ask you something. Should people be able to sell Nazi sign, not Nazi merch on Shopify?
Obviously not. Definitely not. They shouldn't be able to sell that. But where, for the sake of this debate, like I'm going on the other side, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the, I feel
Good
like
luck to you.
Trump's. Pardon? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I know, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a lot of heat for this, but for Trump's sake, his messaging isn't hasn't become as potent as what like a Nazi symbol is. It's in its infancy where, I mean, 74 million people, 75 million voted for him to become president. But now we're saying his image, like a drawing of a Trump, like a cartoon figure, maybe on a mug, is now seen as a symbol of hate, right? This is where I'm going. Like, it's not explicitly said this is hate. It's just people saying Trump 2021, make America great again, and his sayings and etc. and blah 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 blah. Like, nothing really provocatively and visually. This is hate. Mentally, you know what it means, right? Like, but like the Nazi symbol, like they said, okay, yo, this Nazi symbol, this is a status symbol for X, X, and X. But for Trump's side, though, bro, like you have to look at it like that. It's switch Obama, and still the same thing exists, but there's nothing, no messaging that says hate speech at all, which is now like, which kind of brings me to the fact, like, yo, they just kicked him out for selling that gear.
Well, if let's bring it back to Nazi example. Like there, what's this hate with the Nazi symbol? Nothing really. It's just a four lines
So,
really.
so what is the symbol for Trump though now?
The Make It Great Again hat, the Trump 2020 um symbol, the his merch, anything that has to do with him really. Anything to do with Hitler would be anti,
Hmm.
would be anti-Semitism. That my grammar was off, but you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. It'll be anti-Semitic. Is that the way you say it?
Anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Shout out to all the Jew listeners, if there's any Jew listeners in the
Hmm.
audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, bro.
Respectfully, yeah.
But yeah, bro.
So yeah, think about it like that. Like I think, but he Hitler was a leader. He had a ton of votes. He had a ton of people that were educated and at the top of the oligarchs of society.
Hmm.
He had those people, and the picture of him, you know, was probably perceived as just a regular leader.
Hmm.
But now it's totally different. Now we can see in past tense, but we have the future on our side,
Yeah.
right? But even in that moment, he had a ton of the country on his side,
Hmm.
and the messaging originally wasn't no, let's commit this horror.
Hmm.
It was these people are stealing us. It was minute,
Hmm.
microaggressions, and the voice is getting louder and louder and louder and
Hmm.
louder. So yeah, man, and that's the same type of sentiment if you think about it. Like, where do you see the difference?
The difference I see is Hitler and Trump are the same and are not they're the same type of people, same rhetoric, same symbolism in the stuff they've done. Even the way Trump was holding the Bible, like Hitler did the same thing too,
Upside
upside
down.
down and everything. He has the same, even the messaging, the timing of certain words or speeches and etc. Galvanizing the crowd is very Hitler esque. The one thing Trump has an advantage over Hitler is the spirit of the times that exist right now. So Hitler was more about, we all know what happened with, the Jews and everything at the time. But for now, Trump Trump has Trump can't afford to have blood on his hands like the way Hitler did at the time, right? Like there's nothing that you can put to Trump's name right now that says, "Hey, like this guy is he killed all these people and etc." Like no, Trump doesn't have that. What Trump has though is he complies with what has happened to certain groups of people, specifically black people, right? With cops, and he defends them. He doesn't say, "Yeah, kill those people" or whatever. I mean, he called the NFL guys. They're like, "Yeah, like those sons of a bitches. You know what they did." You,
Colin
Colin
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick and etc. Right? So, 2016 to 2020, Trump can't really go out there and have the type of massacre that Hitler did, but he can still carry the same energy. So even though he carries the same energy, he can never reach that point because we're too advanced in society to allow that kind of division to happen. But he does want that division to happen. So Trump has the advantage where he can cause damage, but he can't really have the dirt on his hands because it's people doing this, and he's not really saying go kill that person, go do whatever. It's clothed in certain words where people just act on his behalf. But Trump can be just like, "Hey guys, like I didn't mean for you guys to do that." Even like with Capitol Hill, like he's like, "Hey guys, I didn't mean for you guys to do that. Like I just said let's go there," but they decided to take that next step and storm Capitol Hill, right? So he can like legit. I didn't look at my words, my tweets. I just said, "Hey, count the votes, do whatever." I didn't even say go be racist or whatever and all that jazz. So that's why Trump is way more advanced than Hitler in that sense. And
Mhm.
if I was a lawyer, I'm like looking at this Trump situation like a lawyer from a business perspective, like for these Shopify owners who, and I don't think it's right to sell Trump and etc. But I'm just looking at it from a merchandise and a merchant selling something on Shopify and they're flourishing and their business being taken away. The same way I was defending
Mhm.
these small business owners during Corona and Walmart and Costco are open and I'm selling shoes. Walmart and Costco are getting all the business. It's not fair for those small business owners, right? So for them, they might be like us, very normal. They don't think what the Capitol Hill thing they did is right. Like any other American who voted for Trump, not all of them are, let's say, and this is gonna sound so crazy. Like I'm not saying like so someone like 50 Cent supports Trump, right?
Mhm.
And like a lot of black people do support Trump and they do sell their merch and etc. And then
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, right? And for example, that type of person is now that business is gone and there are just kind of normal people who are like, "Yeah, I like Trump, I like whatever." And this is where we get into that blurred line With Hitler, these people were violent. They're like, yo, any Jew you see, you make sure you put them down. You know.
Yeah. Well, the switch happened once Capitol Hill happened. Once Trump became violent, everything stopped. Everything changed. That's the caveat. That's the thing of, hey, once you start becoming violent, once you have that initial seed, like, well, when do you stop? Like, when 10 people get shot, like, people actually died. 4 people died. A police officer died. You get me? And that's from the inception of these clothing, the thought process, the iceberg behind the tip is behind the
Pause.
tip is pause, yeah. Behind the iceberg behind the tip is from that rhetoric, so that has to go. Sorry. Yeah, he's a casualty. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're a casualty of intellectual war, but that's just how it goes, But who else do you think is going to be a casualty this year? Who do you think is not going to make it? Like Expedia didn't make it
Speedy to
already.
make it.
Expedia didn't make it. Airbnb still rocking out here. People are still going to Airbnbs and having those little parties and stupidness.
Uh,
Airbnb's pivoting well.
so
Who do you think is gonna,
I don't
you
really, more about the businesses that are s- coming back up, and you've been talking about Expedia. Honestly, I can't really answer that question. So, who do you think is gonna
okay?
come back from the dead? That was down.
Whoever's left for that affiliate marketing travel, whoever's left is gonna dominate because, in my prediction, because once the vaccine is distributed amongst the population and everything gets back open, I think people are gonna go crazy with travel. It's like the travel industry is gonna like
They're gonna
have the
pop up.
biggest boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'm about to start investing in airplanes or in Air Canada and Delta,
Mhm.
and hold it for when people start traveling again, because I think it's really gonna boom over the next few years, without a
It
doubt,
makes sense,
without a
man. Like,
doubt.
Air Canada is actually is one of those stocks that historically has performed well. They have a lot of cash. They have government backing, right? So they can never go down under. Like, the government of Canada will never let this airplane brand go down. So they have a lot of cash reserves. They let their whole employee force, they laid them off. So they lowered their expenses. It's just their stock is down just because they're not performing well from having flights. So as an investor, you're like, okay, this was a 50, I think at the time, like last year, February 2020, it was $56 a share. And now it's back to it's I think $18 a share now. So think about that. Like, these are the type of stocks you can just easily buy and stock up on, and it's a Canadian stock too. And in like 2 3 years, like this thing is coming back up because the airplane industry is not gonna ever die at all. And if you
That's a
have the
fact.
share of the market in Canada, which is Air Canada, like it's a definitely. I mean, I picked up like 1 2 shares. I made some little change on it, like $6 spread or something like that. Nothing really major to it, but we'll see how it goes, man. But definitely Expedia, definitely airplane stocks, and what they mean to us, those will be resurrected as soon as the vaccine is up.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if Expedia exactly will be the one, but one of them is gonna have to do well. Speaking of stocks, man, Elon Musk is now the richest person on planet Earth.
Big ups.
Isn't that
Big
insane?
ups. That's crazy. I never, I'll be honest with you. I never saw him ever taking the number one spot from Jeff Bezos. I never did. I never
Interesting.
thought about.
Honestly, I think it's temporary because it's off stocks,
Mhm.
right? It's not off like the actual like revenue the company's making, is it?
No.
From what I understand. So I think it's been off the perceived value, right?
Hmm.
And that can always change because right now the Tesla stock is super inflated.
Hmm.
So once that comes down, then I guess he'll be back down as well. And also Amazon is like one acquisition away. And man, I realized that Elon's such a genius, man. I forgot about PayPal. You remember, like, I forgot that he did PayPal. I was like, what the heck? Like, sometimes you need to remember that, like, this is the same guy, like, the same guy who created PayPal creates Tesla, creates SpaceX. Like it's insane. It's
Bro,
insane.
speaking of PayPal, like Elon Musk was something, was part of a group called the PayPal Mafia. Did I ever tell the
PayPal
PayPal
Mafia.
Mafia? Did I ever tell you about this? So, bro, the
Nah, what's that?
PayPal Mafia, the founders who founded PayPal, that was Reid Hoffman, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Chad Hurley at the time, Jeremy Stolperman. So these founders, Reid Hoffman, PayPal Mafia, was these are the founders of PayPal, and these are the ventures they went on to create after PayPal.
Come back from the mic a little bit. Come back from the mic.
Yeah. So
It's a little bit. Keep
yeah.
going.
So Reid Hoffman, Jeremy Stolperman, Elon Musk, um, Jeremy Stolperman, and Chad Hurley. These guys were part of PayPal, and they left PayPal after they got acquired to go start on. Reid Hoffman went to start LinkedIn. Jeremy Stolperman went to start on Yelp. Chad Hurley started YouTube, right? Peter Thiel went on to become one of the first investors in Facebook, and he started Palantir, which is like one of the world's biggest, I think, research firms, except I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then Elon, of course, went to start on Solar City,
Tesla and everything. Yeah.
SpaceX, Tesla. And just think about that, bro. And then there's also a couple. There's also another guy. He started this payment software which competes with Stripe called Affirm. Um, Max
Yeah.
Levchin or something like that. Like,
Get out of
yeah,
here.
take that in, man. PayPal Mafia.
What
Like
the hell?
these are all these services we use came from guys who um,
Made
made
PayPal.
PayPal.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. So this is a
What the hell? All these geniuses were just chilling out. Like, what's good? So what y'all doing?
man.
That's like a testament to, having like a small circle of and like having, the people around you really, be invested in one specific thing. I didn't know that. I'm looking that up right now. PayPal Mafia. That's insane. PayPal Mafia is a group of former hold up, PayPal employees and founders who have since founded and developed additional technology companies such as Tesla, LinkedIn, Palantir. That's insane.
Hmm.
Slide, Kiva, YouTube, Yelp, and Yammer. That's insane. Wow. And there's a picture of all of them just chilling. That's crazy.
Yeah, like crazy, crazy. Steve Chan,
Is that Dorsey in that too?
Dorsey. No, no, no. These guys were way. Dorsey's more of like a newbie, like millennial, like entrepreneur. He kind of came up in '06, '07 with Twitter when Steve Jobs unveiled the
Of course,
iPhone.
of course. Got you. Got you. That's nuts
And
though.
also, Reddit came from the PayPal Mafia. One of the engineers from PayPal,
Yeah.
he went to
Can you imagine their group chats? Like,
I,
oh yo,
imagine
just
that
just
Slack channel,
just
bro.
acquired something for 1 billion.
Yeah.
Like that that's nuts.
Imagine just like having like a read only Slack channel that you're invited to with these guys in the Slack, and just seeing what they talk about. You know when they say you'll be a fly on the
Yeah.
wall, like the version of that now in this year is like you'll just be a Slack lurker.
Exactly. Man, I'd pay to be in that.
That's something to
That's
subscribe to right there, man. Just watching conversations of billionaires talk. What are they talking about, bro?
exactly. What are they talk like what's on their mind? Like
Hmm.
what drives them? Honestly, like that's the one thing that inspires me too. People who get back into the game after that being acquired. Like it feels for me, it feels like yo, once I get acquired for 100 million, like I'm chilling. Like
Your future set. Your kids are set. What drives you? Like you have to be like ambitious as hell to continue on once you've made an obscene amount of money like that.
yeah, for sure. Kind of like the guest we just had on, man. Shout out to Brian Clayton.
Ryan Clayton,
You know what I'm
also
saying?
shout out to True Local,
Uh, Mark
Mark
Lafleur.
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 Yes, so
Yeah, man, he just got
yeah,
acquired.
what's the story behind that, bruh?
Between Mark or
Mark.
what do you mean the story
Oh, just
behind it?
for the audience. You know?
I don't know the ins and outs of Mark's acquisition.
Oh,
You
oh,
know,
they got acquired by Emerge, right? Which is a,
oh, my fault. That's what you're saying. All right,
yeah,
all right. So what
yeah,
happened? Yes, yes. Please go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah.
I thought you were saying like, hey, what's the inside details of their acquisition? I was like, I don't
He's like, I was in there, like,
know. Got you. I know the press release.
the
Got
press
you.
release.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Please educate the audience on what
yeah.
happened.
So Mark
Yeah.
Lafleur, co-founder, CEO of Tru Local, which is a platform which connects butchers all across the country to be able to sell their meat into one marketplace platform, and people like us can go there and can purchase meat from local butchers in the country or farmers and
Farmers.
etc.
Yeah.
So we had Mark on the podcast about 2 months ago, and we're talking about his business, how logistically it works, and what the future of True Local is. And one of the things that we spoke about was, is Snapchat a company that sold too early? Is Instagram a product
I never sold.
that
I
never
never
sold?
sold.
Yeah, that never
Yeah.
sold. Yeah, so yeah, Evan Spiegel, founder and CEO of Snapchat, Mark Zuckerberg approached him and he offered him, was it how much? 30 billion? 3
3 billion, I
billion, 3
believe.
billion, yeah.
Yeah, started off with the 1 billion. I think we got up to
3
three.
billion. And Spiegel said no, like I don't want to sell the company for 3 billion. And we asked Mark, what are your thoughts on that? And he says, hey, you know what? Whenever you have a deal on the table, you take it. Little did he know, 2 months now out for now, he will have a deal on the table. And so they got acquired by Emerge. Emerge is a e-commerce company here in Toronto, here in Canada, that powers a lot of the different websites and different marketplaces. They have a large portfolio of different brands under their website, but True Local is one of those assets they wanted to have under their meat, food, DTC brands that are up and coming. And they got acquired for 16.8 million by Emerge. Part of it, the details of the deal are stock, cash, different incentives for Mark to stay on the company, and etc. Alex, you were very happy for Mark, but you also believe that he could have waited a little bit longer. You thought there was a bigger deal on the table for True Local, for a company such as True Local. Why do you think that?
All right, that's a great question. So firstly, shout out to Mark, man. I think that getting acquired, selling a business is absolutely incredible, man. Especially as a black man
Yeah.
in today's economy, right? So first things first, shout out to that. What I think is that he is the number one company when it comes to uh, D2C meat delivery, right? So I think what he had the opportunity to do is to, increase the brand, and he's already built a strong brand, but I think it could have been had more market dominance if he had like either a celebrity endorsement or a category killer where everybody knew who he was. Actually, I think there's a cap to it. People know about it, but it's not like HelloFresh yet. It's not like you know even something different like Groupon. There's still it's close to household name, but it's not exactly household name. And I think if he had gotten to that point of having a household D2C company, that deal could have been much sweeter. And if you had someone like either like a Gary V or of course these people cost millions of dollars to market, but or even if you went to a celebrity and said, "Hey, I'll give you my company to, advertise and be a part of the brand," he could have created a stronger brand that would have rewarded a bigger deal with the acquisition. So I think that's one of the things that struck out. That struck to me with the deals. I feel like with being a market leader, he could have commanded a little bit more. But either way, though, he made something that 90% of us won't make,
Dream about.
which isn't exactly. This is something we all dream about.
And
So,
it's even like Brian Clayton was saying, there's a certain group of people who, the elite of the elite entrepreneurs, people dream about having an acquisition for $16 million. Like, and he was comparing it. That's like making it. Everybody wants to play pro basketball, pro whatever, But then you have the unicorns of the unicorns that, like for example, Y Combinator. They've invested in like thousands of companies, but only 10 legit become unicorns. And then there's a second tier of entrepreneurs who start businesses who get acquired on the low. They're great market leaders, but they don't become the Dropboxes, the Airbnbs, and etc. We mutually believe that True Local could have had that status once under a bigger merchant such as Amazon, to power their, Amazon owns Whole Foods and etc. They're getting into that space. We believed True Local could have been there. You also said, hey, this is $1 billion acquisition, and
Yeah.
it's waiting to happen. And I didn't believe it at first, but then when you spoke more about it, I was like, man, that makes sense, man. He definitely can. So first, we're so happy for Mark to sell his company to 16.8 million. That's a lot of money, man. 16 mil isn't whatever, isn't chump change.
You got to take a moment to shout out to him on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Pulling out the red
Oh my
bottoms,
god.
popping the bottle. I was like, I see you.
Mark,
I see
like,
you.
so Mark, do we have a deal? Mark's like, yes, we're ready to close. And his face, like he's just like, yes, I did that.
I did
I'm
that.
doing that.
Facts. Facts. I was like,
Oh,
that's 2020 vibes right
2020
there, man.
vibes, bro.
2021 vibes.
And the guy is like, he started the company 4 5 years ago. That's in business years, that is like a blink of an eye. And that just shows you how great of an entrepreneur you are. Man,
That's a fact.
man,
That's a
you
fact.
know,
Yo, who do you see being acquired in the next year?
kudos.
I got one. Should I go first while we think
Yeah,
about
you,
it?
you always have a pulse on these acquisitions and revivals coming up.
I'm calling it right now. Founder's going to be acquired.
Founder.com.
Founder.
What is
Yeah.
Founder? For the people who don't know what Founder is, what's Founder?
If you haven't checked out Founder, make sure you go check out Founder. They have a lot of value. Shout out Nathan Chan. Nathan Chan is one of the inspirations between me getting started in entrepreneurship. Actually, he was one of like the first pieces of content that really started like getting my gears going and getting the ball rolling with a lot of the marketing I was doing and getting clients in and doing sales and all that kind of stuff. So shout out to Nathan. And yeah, man, he's built a monster business. He has an 8-figure, probably going on 9-figure business. So it's incredible what he's done. He's like in the lane of a magazine meets masterclass with Founder Magazine, and the courses he has as a back end. So he's running a monster. He has over like 2 million followers on Instagram. He's killing almost every media platform right now.
For
You
entrepreneurship.
know, for entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur ain't seeing him. Forbes is just seeing him. CNBC, like think about it. And CNBC has been in business for how long? Probably been in business for like 5 years, maybe. Probably not even 5 years, and he's been able to like dwarf them on social media, which is insane. So I definitely think that he's a solid contender to be acquired by a big media house because the business model that he has is what I think a lot of people are going to start leaning towards because the media platform is dead. And he's getting money like in 2 ways. He has a paid magazine where people have a subscription to his magazine and it's digital, so it's not physical. And he has a course back end and people are paying for the courses as well, which is beautiful. So he gets
Eating.
he's eating exactly. He's eating for off of these two products, right? So, yeah, I definitely think he has like a killer business and is only going to like go farther and farther and farther. So, I think if I'm an entrepreneur looking at him, like, yo, he's kind of catching up or cheddar, So I definitely think he's gonna approach or is gonna be approached in the next year to 2 years for acquisition, most definitely.
Yeah, I can't think of a particular company that is going to get acquired, but what I do predict, and we touched upon it yesterday, is there's different waves of entrepreneurship that come and go. Like certain industries are hot. For example, we had the social media era where, hey, social media such as Facebook, venture capitalists and angels were looking for firms that were doing this type of thing. And then came the
Mm-hmm.
fintech wave, which happened around like 2014 to 2016. And you saw a lot of fintech companies. Then there was like the MarTech side of things, which is still kind of going on right now. I think what we are going to witness, and there's a lot more companies starting out, is companies that are going to allow people to communicate via audio and video the best way possible. So with the power of Zoom, Zoom has allowed companies to create sub niches categories in business, such as what we're recording with right now, Riverside.fm. So
Mm-hmm.
audio is going to become like a major player in the next 5 years. That's my prediction. And the company that does that the best is going to be a great acquisition play for someone like Spotify, who's looking to beef up their podcasting by them getting Gimlet and all these other
Wandery.
Quandary and et cetera. Yeah. So I think audio is going to be exploding in the next 5 years, especially with podcasting becoming such a major tool to communicate and making it easier for people to make audio, especially with working from home and distancing and distance learning. It doesn't have to be podcasting. It could be like, how can we help young kids communicate? What type of tools can we create for them to learn better? Does it only have to be video? No, we can do audio. How can we make audio, short snippets of audio and etc. And even the Alexa app is going to become big too, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
voice is going to be used a lot more to learn and teach. Imagine, as we spoke about, having an Alexa channel for the podcast too. These are some things that are going to start coming up. So yeah, the podcasting audio space, I think it's ripe for someone to come and take a hold of it and have a major acquisition in that.
We talked about it on the last episode. I seen Netflix getting into podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
They already have one. I forget the actual name of it, but it's with one with Scotty Beam. Shout out to Scotty Beam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I see Netflix. I think it's an easy play for Netflix to create content that's not TV or film,
Mm-hmm.
but is actually digital for podcasts. For instance, they did it with Andrew Schultz last year. I think that was like a beta run on how they can do it because he has his own studio. But I definitely think that there's going to be a lane, especially seeing the success of Joe Rogan, of having podcasts on Netflix. And they're going to start acquiring or leasing content from big providers, the Joe Buddens of the world, the Joe Rogans, the Schultzes. Of course, Joe Rogan not because he's just Spotify, but you know, people of that ilk are going to get Netflix deals and really have like a pivot from not just film and TV, but
Yeah.
podcasts. I see that as a move in 2021, 2022. And it's easy to acquire them, right? If Netflix comes up to you and says, hey, 40 million right now, become a Netflix, you're now a Netflix entity.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, all right, bet, let's go. So I definitely see that as a play moving forward.
Yo, you know what I'm thinking? Like, imagine podcasting turns into like rapping. Like, every podcaster is looking to get a deal. You know how I'm gonna come up like, yo, I'm looking to get a deal with Universal. I'm looking to get a deal with Sony, or
They're getting signed.
yeah, they're getting signed. So like as a
Podcasts
podcast,
are getting signed.
yeah, they are getting signed. And I think it's gonna be funny when the culture, how music and hip hop has always been. As a rapper, you know, you're battling in like these freestyle battles and etc., hoping to get noticed. You're handing out your demo tape, your CD, you're selling your trunks out the car. I think podcasting is gonna take the same form of that type of energy, where we're looking to get signed. You're looking to get a deal with etc. And I think people like us, I think we're so primed for the explosion. I think podcasts have exploded, but I think we haven't seen what's yet to come. And what I love about what we're doing is we're talking about business. We're making it cool. It's casual, and I think we'll get a deal such as that, man. We're gonna get signed. Someone's gonna come and say, "Hey,
Partnership.
partnership."
A partnership.
That's what I was getting at to it. And you beat me to it, bro. So our minds were aligned there. Like, hey, let's rent out your catalog for X amount of years and etc. And this is what you get. So yeah, man, it's just funny how podcasting is gonna take that, and then you're gonna have, I don't know what's gonna be the version of like SoundCloud rapper or SoundCloud podcaster. That's
YouTube.
YouTube,
For sure.
your YouTube
Yeah, and
podcast.
SoundCloud's still SoundCloud though. I was thinking about that. We should probably get on SoundCloud, man, because people are still on there.
You are still there, eh?
You know what I'm saying? People still are out on SoundCloud for sure, man. For sure, man. I'm excited, man. There's a lot of big things coming up.
Mm.
You know, with media is doing some great things. Tomorrow
Congrats on that,
we
bro.
got yes, man. We have a workshop going on. If you haven't heard about it, you can feel free to sign up. I'll have the link in the description. We're doing a workshop for Facebook ads for e-commerce beginners. If you're a new Shopify owner, a drop shipper, and you're thinking about having e-commerce ads on Facebook, on Instagram, this workshop's for you. Please do not hit the boost button. Please have a strategy, an optimization strategy. Please have a creative strategy. Think about how you're going to be advertising, and this workshop's all about that. We have big things coming on for Hustler's Card, for Hustle Over Everything. I'm super excited. So let's go, man. I'm super excited for 2021, man.
Yeah, we're about to explode up, man. And we have a lot of things we're working on. People know about it, but I don't think we've really marketed that well. I think we've worked on positioning Hustle Over Everything as a flagship brand more than anything, but we're looking to market those. And in regards to your workshop, bro, I was telling you yesterday your copywriting skills on the Facebook post that you posted in the Black community support group for Toronto. It got so
Mm-hmm.
much traction, even for me. Even if I did not know you and I read that, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, that is a great post, because you touched upon the pains that all these owners face. They get a post, it gets a lot of likes, and then the boost button is they're so tempted just to hit boost for $5 or whatever, and it doesn't even do much for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's another thing that commonly you see newbies getting into Facebook ads do?
I see them, you know, this launching ad, this being, oh, well, this is a post, did it somewhere, well, boom, and this do it and not have any call to action. The landing page be trash. Man, there's so much other things, man. It's a long story, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
guys, we gotta wrap it up real quick. This wraps up our podcast. Yeah, if you were listening to this, make sure you subscribe to us and follow us on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, the hustle what you can't control. So control your grind and control your life. I'm Alex,
And I'm Owen.
and that's Hustle Over Everything. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you so much for listening. The conversation continues on our Instagram at 24/7 Hustler. We post very frequently. And be sure to check out our merch at hustleovereverything.co. We have some amazing sweaters, hats, mugs, and a lot more. Lastly, our Proud to Pay program is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Talk to you next Monday. Peace.